Surprised? Well, I would be too if I were you. After all, it's really hard to find a melange of two cultures that are so different and astonishingly divergent. Interestingly, I've been complimented very differently for this combination. Someone once told me that they could see the whole of India on me. And another one jokingly said that I looked more like tandoori chicken dipped in sambar. But most of the time, I've just been referred to as a South Indian Sardar. And I totally love this title. I love it. Oh well, a wise South Indian always keeps fixing his rupee. We live in India, a country where ethnic diversity is all over the map. And it's these diverse cultures within India that bring to it the beauty. These cultures differ from each other on the basis of food, festivities, sometimes even languages, and also religions at times. But I find it very analogous to a bouquet of flowers. So if you have ever seen a bouquet of flowers, if you ever go to a florist and you see at the shelf, you will see that the most attractive bouquet is the one that has flowers of all kinds and colors in it. And quite reasonably, the same kind of bouquet holds more value and is the costliest one in the lot. Much like in the case of bouquets, it's the diverse culture of India that brings the value and beauty to it. But surprisingly, the situation today is very contrasting. Don't you feel so? It's amazingly strange from what it should be. We have been divided by fanaticism on the basis of caste, color, and religion. And often misled by these thoughts, we try to force uniformity all around us. Uniformity, for instance, I'm wearing a turban. All of you have to wear a turban, else I won't tolerate you. Talk to me in my own language, else I won't talk to you. The need is not for uniformity, but for unity. If you ever see the nature, the forests have trees of all heights, and the mountains have stones of all shapes. But we are still hooked to our differences. When will we learn from nature? It's not that difficult, really. It's high time we understand that such totalitarian sentiments and such dogmatic sentiments in no way whatsoever will help us live in peaceful coexistence. My spiritual mentor always taught me the idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is one big family. And that the need of the hour is not just coexistence, but peaceful coexistence. But the question now that arises is, how do we really exercise this thought? That reminds me of a story that my grandma told me when I was younger. This was during the era of the 10th Sikh Guru, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. During this time, the Mughals waged many battles against the Sikhs. And during one such battle that happened in the 18th century, the battlefield saw a lot of bloodshed and a lot of gory. During this battle, in the midst of this chaos, there was a Sikh comrade, Bhai Kanhaiya Ji. He used to move around in the battlefield and very lovingly serve water to all the wounded and the dying people on the battlefield. But what set him apart was the fact that he did all this without any discrimination between the Mughals and the Sikhs. When the other Sikh soldiers saw this happening, they went directly to Guru Gobind Singh Ji and complained to him that Bhai Kanhaiya has been revitalizing the fallen enemy soldiers. This is just so unfair. On hearing this, Guru Gobind Singh Ji summoned Kanhaiya and asked for an explanation. To which Kanhaiya very humbly replied, "My lord, all these accusations against me are actually true. These are very true. But since the day I have attained enlightenment from you, I do not see a Mughal and a Sikh separately on the battlefield. I just see only humans on the battlefield. I just see them all as children of the same God. After all, it's you who told me that it's the same divine essence that resides in the entire human race." Guruji was very pleased and he blessed Kanhaiya, saying that this disciple has learned the message really well. But for the next few minutes, I'll request you to have a critical yet open mind to what I say. Because what I'm going to say, you all already know, but we seldom think about it. We often say that there are many religions in the world, a lot of religions in the world. But if you narrow it all down, there's just one religion, and that is of humanity. If you claim to be a lover of God, you have to love God's utmost creation, and that is mankind. And trust me, it is not just me who is saying this, it's our holy scriptures that say this too. Have a look at this. The Holy Bible says, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." The Holy Quran says, "Respect and honor all human beings, irrespective of their religion, color, race, sex, and so on." Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, "Jin prem kyo tin hi prab payo." Only those who love the mankind will attain God. And Bhagavad Gita said, it says this thing very differently, but the message is the same. "Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, one will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, they're all mine." So all these messages are from different times, are from different faiths, are said by different prophets and different sages. But if you see, the message is still the same. And this derives me to the inference that religion unites, never divides. So it's really possible very easily once we understand a simple fact, a very simple fact. And this is something we all need to ponder upon. Think of yourself as a flower in a garland. We all might be different flowers in a garland tied together by a single internal thread. Me, you, all of us are just souls. Leave the external differences around, but all of us are just souls that are attached to one single supreme soul that is omnipresent, omnipotent, and formless. But these views, these feelings might be rare in today's world, but they're still not inexistent. And there are a lot of stories that have the same feeling behind them, the feeling of love, the feeling of compassion. And these stories are waiting to be heard. Inspired by such stories, me and my friend Avnish, we started a channel called Humans of Mysore, where we used to go out, meet people around Mysore in different neighborhoods of Mysore, and we tried to strike a meaningful conversation with them. So our conversations would lead to some stories or some inspirational messages that they had to give us, and we obviously used to post these with the images, of course, with their permission. So one such story that left a very deep impression on me was something which I learned on August 2016. This was when I met a couple from Mysore, based out of Mysore. There was a Muslim family, a very happy Muslim family. But this family wasn't always so happy. They had a dreadful past. In 2010, Shehla and Gulzar, the parents in the family, were bringing up two children, one 7-year-old boy and another one 3-year-old cute little girl. So these parents had the most beautiful children they ever could think of. I guess every parent thinks the same way about their children. These children were as childlike as they could be, always filled with enthusiasm and glee. They were naughty. They used to play while they eat and eat while they play. And they asked the naughtiest and the most difficult questions to their parents, always beating their intellect. This family was so happy that nothing less than perfect was there with them. But destiny seemed to be writing something else for this family. On one such fateful day, these two puddles of innocence lost their lives in a vehicular accident. Shehla and Gulzar had their lives, but they had lost their lifelines. Now give it a moment, let it sink in. Think about their pain, about the tragedy that happened with them. Think about what went through their mind. Did you try? I'm sure it's even intimidating to think about it. And these parents went through this tragedy. They were left bereft. They tried whatever they could to get even a modicum of solace. And finally, they left their jobs, they left their dwellings, they left their neighborhood and went out on an endless journey in search of peace. They went out throughout India, throughout different shrines in India, just in order to search for peace. But unfortunately, nothing subdued their grief. This was during one such train journey that they had from Agra to Delhi. They happened to sit across another gentleman, Mr. Kohli from Delhi. So this was definitely by a divine arrangement, I feel. So Mr. Kohli noticed their sullen faces and it prompted him to ask them what's wrong with them. And in no time, this couple grew comfortable with that gentleman and told them what happened to them. The conversation ended and so did the journey. The co-passengers exchanged their numbers. And then when Mr. Kohli went back home, he narrated the whole incident to his wife. Mrs. Kohli, who herself was a mother, was moved from within. And this compelled her to go and give Shehla a call. She called Shehla and invited them to come and live with their family. But Shehla and Gulzar obviously resisted. How would they go to a stranger just like that? But Mrs. Kohli's relentless convincing finally made them come home and meet with them. This is the very day that Shehla and Gulzar very vividly recall they found a family away from family, a home away from home, and love beyond bounds. They found all this in spite of the differences between their cultures, between their religions, and their ethnicity. Shehla, in her own words, told, "The family empathized with me a great deal. Auntie was in tears herself, and they were shocked at what had happened. The reason they called us home was to give me that warmth and consolation that I needed." Imagine, think of the selfless love they had for each other. When Auntie learned from me that the incident had happened just 2 months back, she was shocked even more. Just like my mother would have, she showered her love on me. She instilled in me immense hope and courage to complete our family again, be contented and settle in life. We got our peace of peace from a place where we least expected it. 8 years later, the family is complete again. Shaila and Gulzar have two little daughters, Rusha and Anushe. Now, I have a question for all of you sitting in the audience. I want you to raise your hands if you would do the same if you were in the position of Mr. Kohli or Gulzar or Shaila. Please raise your hands if you would do the same. And those who aren't raising the hands, I would like to ask you to introspect what the reason could be. This was possible for them only because they came out of their inhibitions, of the differences between their religions, between their cultures, and they embraced those differences. The imminent question that still persists is, are we ready for a world where a human being sees another human being as a human being and nothing less than that? Where borders are not defined as lines that separate two nations, but as lines that basically connect them. And a world where a combination of a turban and a mund doesn't surprise the audience. Thank you.